I bet you've heard the age-old debate of how to hold a drumstick, and I think the answer is quite simple, in my humble opinion. The two grips that have been warring against each other for perhaps a century have been traditional grip and matchstick grip. In this video, we're going to briefly go over the history and reasoning behind why people use these different grips. And let me tell you, whether you're a jazz drummer or a metal drummer, this video is going to be helpful in some way or another. Once upon a time, the first drum was made. The first drums were similar to bongos/congas, where they were played with their hands. But when drums became more popular and spread to Asia, drumsticks were first developed, and then they used matchstick grip. It was the best way to hold them and instinctively felt right. But then where did traditional grip come from? Alright, flash forward way into the future. Marching has become a thing, and so now drums have to become mobile. No good way of carrying the drums was thought up except for wearing a strap that connected to the drum. It became pretty uncomfortable to use matchstick grip, so drummers made a wonky way of holding the stick, which somehow became traditional grip. But we're talking about playing a drum set and not marching drums. So does it even relate now, and do the difference between the two grips actually even matter? In short, yes, but we'll get to that soon. Flash forward a bit more to America. Jazz became very popular, and the first drum sets looked like this. After some time, they became what we know today as the modern drum set. However, something was a little off. The snare drum was still tilted, and it didn't have to be, but jazz drummers insisted that it was the best way of doing things. I remember when I was off in search of what grip I should use as a beginning jazz drummer, I watched an interview with Buddy Rich explaining why he used traditional grip over matchstick grip.
That's all right if you're playing timpani. When you play timpanis, this is obvious the way you play a timpani roll. Right? But you can't do the same thing up here on a snare drum. You can't really do anything. The correct way is the drum wave, right? Where you can roll, where you can get around that way.
At the time, I thought that Buddy Rich was the best drummer who had ever lived, so I set out to learn traditional grip. But while I watched the video, I couldn't help but think about how close-minded his reasoning was. So I learned traditional grip after a bit of trial and error. As someone who started out from a concert percussion experience, I used matchstick grip exclusively until that point. So it was quite the process learning how to translate stuff like rolling, push-pull technique, etc. After getting a hang of traditional grip, I started doing more research. That's when I found this.
The correct way is the drum wave.
So it didn't really matter, even according to Buddy Rich, despite his interview. Here's my simple answer to the traditional grip versus matchstick grip debate. And that is, use whatever is most comfortable for you. Traditional grip definitely has its place in jazz, where it makes comping and ghost notes on the snare easier. However, when it comes to moving around the set, it's a bit harder, especially on the toms. This is why Buddy Rich and Gene Krupa have used matchstick grip and traditional grip interchangeably. And to add to the answer, if you feel comfortable with one grip over the other, try learning that other grip. It'll take you out of your comfort zone and ultimately make you a better player and more versatile than you were before. If you've gotten this far into the video, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you for watching.